Some foreigners see study as a softer landing path before working in China. They may want to learn Chinese first, understand the market, build relationships, and look for opportunities after arrival. That can be a real plan. But student status is not a shortcut to work status. The school, program, documents, stay duration, and later transition logic all matter. The first check is the school itself. A student should not only ask, "Will this school accept me?" They should ask, "Can this school support the status route I actually need?" Degree programs, university language programs, exchange arrangements, private training programs, and short courses do not all create the same file. Some programs may issue admission materials, but may not support the longer stay or post-entry path the student expects. This is especially important for people whose real plan is not only study. If the medium-term plan is to work, start a company, or remain in China longer, the study route must be checked against that plan from the beginning. The second check is X1 and X2 logic. X1 and X2 are not just labels. They connect to different study duration planning. Generally, X1 is associated with longer-term study, while X2 is associated with shorter-term study. This matters because the visa label affects what the student expects after entry. For longer-term study, there may be post-entry residence procedures within a limited window. If the student treats arrival as the end of the process, they may miss the fact that the local student residence file still has to move. The third check is JW201 or JW202 document control. For many student routes, JW documents can be central to the visa and residence path. These documents should be treated like core status documents, not casual school paperwork. If a critical school-issued document is lost, invalid, inconsistent, or cannot be reissued quickly, the student may face serious delay. Depending on the school and process, reissuance or reapplication can take months. That is not just inconvenient, it can change the entire arrival plan. The fourth check is whether the program is qualified for the expected status. This is where people get misled by convenience. A short private program may be affordable, flexible, and attractive. A language center may seem like a practical starting point. But if it cannot issue the documents or support the status the person expects, the convenience becomes a risk. The student should separate marketing from administrative capacity. The question is not only whether the course is useful, it is whether the school-side file can support the legal stay path. The fifth check is work limitation. Student status does not automatically authorize employment. This point matters for anyone thinking, "I will study first, then do some work on the side, and later convert to a proper job." That assumption can create illegal employment risk. If the person wants to work in China, they need a separate work status plan. Eligible employer, position logic, qualification documents, work permit notification, entry route where relevant, and post-entry work and residence handling. Studying can be part of a broader life plan. It should not be used to blur the line between study and work. The sixth check is transition planning. If the student hopes to work later, what must be ready before that transition? Does the person have the required degree or authentication path? Can the future employer hire foreigners? Does the role match the candidate's background? Will the timing allow a clean change from student planning to work planning? If these questions are only asked after the student is already in China and close to expiry, the transition may become rushed or impossible within the available time. Consider what actually happens. A foreigner wants to study Chinese first and then look for work in China later. They choose a short private program because it is convenient and affordable. The school provides an admission letter. The student assumes that all school documents are interchangeable and that once they are in China, they can figure out the next step. After arrival, several problems appear. The program cannot support the longer stay the student expected. The student status does not allow them to work. A missing or wrong JW document cannot be replaced quickly. The later work plan also needs an eligible employer, degree documentation, and a work status route that was never planned. The problem is not the motivation to study. The problem is that the school-side file did not match the real plan. Study first, possibly work later. The framework to save is study first check. 1. School qualification. Can the school support the status route, not just the class? 2. X1 or X2 duration. Does the visa logic match the real length of stay? 3. JW document control. Are the critical school documents accurate, valid, and protected? 4. No automatic work right. Student status is not work authorization. 5. Future transition plan. If work or company setup is the real next step, map that path before choosing the program. The lesson? Study can be a meaningful first stage in China, but only when the school file, stay duration, and future work status plan point in the same direction. If the real goal is future employment, the study choice should be tested against that future before enrollment, not after arrival. A business license can look like the finish line. For a foreign founder, it is only the beginning of the operating structure.